straight into it as well. Thank you so much for joining us so far today. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here with some action on Wardy TV. If you're enjoying the stream, I'll just take a moment to say do consider following the channel. Obviously, see when we go live in the future with more SE2 action. If you're really enjoying, you can support the channel as well by subscribing, donating, and sharing. All of the usual stuff. All of it is greatly appreciated, so do check that out as we get ready to rock on into Ghost River for game number 2 of this best of 3. Solar 2-0 Docs. Solar waits in the finals for whoever comes out of this matchup. I'm going to count down and get this underway. Start this off. Heading into Ghost River for our map number 2. Small, aggressive map. Nightmare, I feel like proxying the gateway again, or are we going to see him play a little bit more chilled out on a map where proxy gates and stuff can be even more powerful? Big question, isn't it? Top left-hand side, we are going to have ourselves the red Terran player. Representing Team Liquid, this is Clem. Up against our Protoss in the top right-hand side, we have Nightmare. Game number 2, as Clem leads 1-0 in the best of 3. It was a scrappy game, and obviously Nightmare, there's a lot of moments where Nightmare looks very good. It looks as though Nightmare has a lot of options, a lot of chances, but at the end of the day, Clem just able to, again, take those scrappy scenarios and keep working them into his favor. Kind of crazy how good he can be in those situations, actually, a lot of the time. Well, SCV and Probe will chase each other around a little bit. Nothing too unusual here for the start of the game. Everything's still looking kind of as you would expect it to for the moment, so looking good in that regard. And Orbital Command, new CC, Reactor, all on the way up. Cybercore Nexus and Assimilator coming through as well as we get that well underway. Probe is going to be sat out towards the center, chilling for a couple moments. And there is a pylon, so maybe not the gateway proxy, but still something aggressively set from the middle of the map. Seems to be the plan here for Nightmare. Let's see what exactly he commits to in these next few moments. Alright, actually just puts a gateway down still, so it's still just going to be gateway pressure, just this time off of an expansion. So you'll have an expansion then into the gateways to try and deal some damage. A little bit of a different approach. A little bit of a different vibe. Interesting for sure. There's the Adepts. Gonna try and shade up there, trying to see what's going on. Marines gonna try and fight back, try and hit the Adept a little bit. Try and do a little bit of back and forth. As we will see the Adepts Just going down. These Marines actually have a jump on this Adept as well. Doesn't even get that SCV, so Clem getting a couple of early units. Good to see. Obviously puts you in a good little position. Definitely a very reasonable way to start things off. Seeing Stimpack and Combat Shield on the way from Clem, so that's going to be his next stepping stone in this game. That's going to be his next point of contention. It's going to be where he tries to play throw now. As we just have, again, +1 Stim combat all coming through the Twilight and the Robo facility coming up as well. So all of that's still coming into play. Stalker's going to get there. A couple of Marines are going to get turned. Going to have to back the heck out of here for the moment as we see ourselves a Stalker push coming through. This is where having a bunker would be incredible, but alas, there is no bunker in sight, so not great, not ideal at all. SCV's going down, and that on his way to Stim and Combat Shield. If this is just hitting the orbital, then I don't think you care that much. Marauder came forwards there for a moment. A few SCVs will pull in. I'm still doing a great job of nullifying some of the, you know, damage being taken. He's pulling SCVs, but he isn't letting really many of them go down. I think he's actually doing a very, very good job here in these early stages. Fantastic effort so far. Pips will threaten the shade. 1-2. Position. As you just see, the Fire now having Stim is going to make it so much more powerful, so much easier for it to continue through. The Bio will go chasing a little bit. The Stalker goes down. Every unit you lose out on here from Nightmare feels rough. We're going into that Resonating Glaives as a follow-up again on this aggression, so he clearly feels as though there's some sort of hope for him there, but it's hard to really feel that hope. Drops down and reloads up. Ourselves settled in. Just going to be seeing the Stalkers trying to do as much as they can. Another Marauder going down. Nightmare with the cute micro. Clem actually going to threaten the move out onto the map. So it's going to come across here as the Prisma's still moving about up toward the top side. Fire's going to come through. He's going to see a few Marines getting blasted right there as well. We still have the Colossus and the other few Adepts going to come out and try to chase. Well, Clement loses this force. I was never really, honestly, I was kind of surprised he went across the map with this army because it never really looked super hopeful or looked super great. But I was trying to believe in our boy Clem. Fortunately, doesn't make much happen there. And Nightmare actually gets into now a much better position, right? So things are definitely going to settle a little bit into his favor as he gets rid of a few more SCVs. Those Adepts putting in work, and now a push on the front still. It's absolutely looking to come through with even more power. Clem's still Marauder's going to try and go the other way, but now Clem's going to start losing SCVs, and I'm not sure he has the army supply to actually survive this, which is obviously a major issue, so that is very, very scary. Prism still moving around. Well, obviously at this point it just feels as though Nightmare's kind of got this game. It's just hard to imagine a way out from this situation currently. Adepts going to shade upwards. There's a Colossus showing up as well. Clem's supply is absolutely in trouble. These Adepts could just commit to that. I actually think they would have been fine with him to make that commitment, but decides not to. We'll just have the other Adepts continue to gather here, and Marines and the siege tank still coming through. And try and unload on the low ground and get a bit of a flank going on this, but another Colossus shows up, so the flank gets flanked. It's not exactly a great sign, is it? So yeah, I think this one is unfortunately coming to a close for Clem. And for Ghost, it's kind of good news because we get an extra game out of it. Game 3 is going to be on the way. And we're not going to get a full series between these two players. These adepts are just a little bit too good. GG is called, and that's going to be Nightmare taking game 2, tying this 1-1. Fantasy TY fanboy, thank you so much for the 41-month resub, 37 straight months to throw my money straight into Wardy's wallet. Thank you so much. You have good aim, sir. You have good aim. Thank you, thank you. As we will ready into next game in a moment. Maybe Alcyone to decide the series, so we will see whether Nightmare or Clem advance to play Solar in today's grand finals. Getting that up and running. It'll be operational in a second as our players get moved about. Just waiting for Nightmare to join the lobby. Nightmare is all we need. Alright, countdown into Alcyone. Game number 3. Ready to go. In the top right, our red Terran player is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. He takes on the blue Protoss in the bottom left here of ESL Open Cup 237 semifinals, Nightmare. Get ready to rumble. Final game of a series. Winner plays Solar in the finals. Dark got knocked down by Solar in the semi on the top side. Boost on the Nexus, and Simulator will come down. Okay, Ray. This is a barracks to start us off, and this probe already on a little bit of a journey. Nightmare trying to make sure Clem isn't doing anything too cheeky early on. We'll see our probe moving about. Scouting does start up, and we just wait to see where this game will go. Zealot, Cybercore, both on the way up here from Nightmare. They're going to drop a Nexus into play on the natural, so just going to get that started up as well. Have our Nexus continuing to get settled in, so just building that up. 2 Reapers and a factory on the way. Over on the other side. Let's continue to bring that through. And a couple of Reapers and the Hellion then, both coming up. We get that up and rolling. The Reaper's still popping out. The Hellion's still coming forwards. Keep that on the way as these couple of Reapers are going to get active onto the Zealots. So the Zealots will begin to take a few shots. Reaper will be good to get some damage done. And obviously with our Hellion, we're now going to have 4 Reapers, 2 Hellions. And you know that that can be a very aggressive combination, as that's going to be going across the map very, very soon. So eyes open for that. Expecting that to come with a punch or 2 packed into it. Clam looking as though he might get very dangerous here very shortly, as the Hellion will continue to fight against the Adept. Waiting for a couple moments. Pylon coming down. Reaper and the Hellion still going through. The Adept is going to shade away. We have got the additional units now coming in, but we're going to lose another of the Hellions. Didn't pull that back away from the Adept at all. One Adept dies, the second Adept is super low. The Probe's already pulling away from this Reaper Hellion force as that Adept regened a little bit of shields. We're going to have another Adept coming down the low ground, but you can see the Probes are in trouble. The Reapers and the Adepts are just going to go onto the Reapers and the Hellion go onto the Adept again. 3 Probes killed, but now we're going to have free reign. There's no units out. A Stalker warps in, but these Reapers are just going to be firing away for a little bit as the Stalker shows up. It will finally clean up, but it's going to take a little while. And Clem has killed 9 Probes already and working on more. A couple more Probes still taking shots. 10 workers going down. Make it 11. Stalker takes so long to kill off these Reapers, making it 12. And Clem has done devastating damage early in the game as his army supply is 17-2. Because this wasn't just workers, it was all of those Adepts that he killed off as well. So he killed Adepts and he killed workers. It's a double whammy. And Clem in the driver's seat now for game number 3, the final map of this series. That's going to already move forwards with Marines and a Cyclone, bringing that straight through. Marines continue to hunt, Probes will pull forward, Cyclone drops down, a couple more Probes going down as well. Another Probe being picked off, Stalker still taking some damage. Marines will be getting picked away at here as the army of Nightmare actually does find something of a hold. And actually with the Blink 4, going to try and get the Medevac. Cyclone will get one more Stalker. Medevac with a boost is safe. Wow, that's an incredible save from Clem. There's obviously still up in workers, not good for a Protoss player. At least Nightmare got Blink online, that's something he can play with for a little bit now. Red comes in, just gonna get siege, couple Pros gonna get shot at. Five more Probes dropping here. The rest are moving around the bottom, just gonna be seeing the rest of our Probes coming through. Nightmare Supply is really doing a lot of the talking at the moment. See that Stalker, I'm gonna get picked off. I'm just gonna see the Stalkers blinking. They want to get this tank, but you're gonna lose so many of the Stalkers. We can evacuate the Prism. Still costs you like 3 Stalkers though, right? So pretty expensive siege tank snipe. I get it, you want to get rid of that splash damage, stop those numbers from rising up, but you don't have a Stalker count on the map. I don't know if any of that's really going to matter in the end. That's the issue we're going to end up on. As our Stalker's going to try for the tank in the main base. SCV's going to get there to start repairing it. It does not go down. We lost the Stalker now. Good save from Clem. Continues to just do very well, slowly, meaningfully dealing with this Warp Prism. Stalker's just going to shoot this Liberator, which is just denying mining, so at least that goes down. One less thing for Nightmare to worry about. Although he can't afford to lose the Prism, Cyclone lock-on lasts a while. The Marines actually moved away. I was going to say, if the Marines stayed there, they would have had that kill. They have the kill now anyways, so... Prism goes down, and surely that's all that was keeping Clem at home. He might not move out without Stim. But we're realistically going to be looking for an incredible turnaround on the side of Nightmare to survive Clem when he does come attacking. He will have a Colossus. There's not a lot of anti-Colossus play, but one Matrix could be very powerful. We're talking about a situation here where Clem is just tripling the army supply, so single tech units are kind of out of the water. You know, they're out of their depth in terms of being able to just save the day just by being around. It's just too much of a lead that Clem got off of that early start. It's going to be way too much of an advantage. Fire coming through. Pylon going to get picked off. Raven tanks continue to set up. Clem still pressing forwards here. Just going to see our Stalkers and the Colossus still coming through. Again, +1 attack, combat shield, concussive shells all coming up. Our couple tanks continue to siege. As we do push forwards. Colossus is still in some trouble. Ravens will move through. There's going to be seeing the battery going down. Marauder's going to go in. There's going to be seeing that combat shields on the way up as well as the pylon takes some more hits. The Colossus still gathering. Tank siege again. Bio's still moving up. I mean, the tanks just need to slowly push forwards. The robo facility being here is not exactly ideal. I'm going to lose that. I'd say at the very least, we just got the prism out, so a little bit of micro potential. As Night Knight continues to roll over and die here in this game number 3. Prism tries to drop some zealots on the tanks, but they will now live, and order turrets go down. We don't even need a matrix. That order turret was maybe a bit too much. Didn't really need that at all, but again, you're talking about a situation here which is absolutely one-sided in favor of Clem, who goes to set this up as a TVZ best of 5 final. Alright guys, so Clem versus Solar in the finals coming up. And get right on into that in just a few. I'm just going to BRB a couple moments. I'll see you guys after this for a game number 1 of the best of 5 final between Clem and Solar. Maps are coming through for this best of 5, guys. Be operational in a moment. Templar Delta, Oceanborn, Alcyone, Crimson Court, and Amphion all coming through. As we get Solar and Clem ready to go, ready in GLHF. Going to be called. As we are counting straight down into it, so it's ZVT best of 5 finals time here today. Thanks so much for joining us so far. Appreciate you all tuning in. Let's hope for great finals here. Let's hope for a banger between Solar and Clem. Played with 0 ping difference because they're both in Korea as well, which is awesome. Even better. Alright, we are going to kick off into Site Delta, guys. In a second. Any moment now. In the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player. I haven't seen anything really of... Well, we saw him actually dispatch of Beyond pretty quickly earlier on. It was such a fast series, I forgot we'd even watched that one. But yeah, it's Solar in the top left. So I guess, yeah, ZVT was looking pretty sharp earlier. But against a Beyond who has struggled lately. Taking on a Blue Terran in the bottom right-hand side. Team Liquid's Clem. As we get into Game 1 of this Best of 5 Grand Final on today's ESL Open Cup Korea Edition 237. Thank you so much for everyone joining us. And let's have a good show of it as we get this one up and ready to go here in a moment. As we get set up and rolling, then CC is going to be up against a hatchery first, and it's double racks low ground from Clem, so we're going to Reaper it up to start this one off. You can see there's a couple of racks getting set up. We'll be seeing both of those getting going. The Orbital Command coming through, the Reaper coming in. And again, a hatchery and our spawning pool coming up as well. Depot continues to come by just for the moment. As we get set up and rolling, so getting this underway. Second racks will be done, and let's have ourselves again a couple of Reapers, the Orbital, hatchery and the pool, all coming up. All of that coming online right now. And a couple of Queens continue to build in the Lings as well. The 2 Reapers on the way on the side of Clem. The Reaper Pops continues to head out to the upper left side. 2 more Reapers on the way in. CC coming up. SCV and the Refinery coming in as well. Still just getting a lot of that on the way right now. This Reaper continues across the map. Also, Reaper will start to dive about with a couple of these Lings, trying to get something done. Have a few Reapers, right? We're going to go up to 4, which is a little bit more than usual. Just going to start a fight, take some damage onto the Queen. Shots coming in there, the Reapers pulled back, reactor in the tech lab, finishing up in a moment or two. Reaper still coming about, that Ling speed is finishing, drones and Ling still building up. As our stim pack is coming in on the side of Clem, Orbital in the factory still coming up as well. Reaper still pulling away, those Queens getting active once more. Reapers move about, stim pack coming up. Things gonna fight. The Reapers hop back down the low ground. Pulling back for the moment as that stim still comes through. Starport and the orbital coming up as well. Couple queens and the drone still coming up. Our overlord coming through. Hatchery is about to finish. Those Reapers are climbing, going to hop back up toward the high ground. He has the queen still building on the natural. There's actually a lot of lungs moving forwards towards the natural as well, but LM has a full wall off. So Solo will not find any opportunity as the armory starts up. So Clem going to hit with quite a bit of aggression here on side Delta. As Stim is done, he's going to get across the map. It's just going to look like some, Marines and medevacs going to deal some damage, but the Hellions morphing into Hellbats can create such a vicious front line. It can be so tough then. It makes a difference in terms of how you can deal with this. And currently Solar playing double Evo Chamber, no Lair, no Baneling Nest. These are all signs that he's going to have a bad time when it comes to this attack of Clem. This is the exact sort of situation that Clem is hoping plays out. So far looking great for him. We'll see how much he can get done in the next few moments. Reapers continue upwards towards the upper left. So we still have those little alive from the early game too. So if you Reapers just join in the DPS games, Lings being made, this is really going to come down to just having Lings and Queens and just trying to have enough. There's a lot of Queens available and they will probably make a big difference on this. Like I say, I love those Reapers. They can make a difference too. Clem leaves one Hellbat behind him as he starts going in initially onto the Queens. The Lings run forwards here. The Marines doing what they can. Medevac's already gone. The Queens really do need to put in some work right here to try and keep these units from breaking through too heavily. He started target fire some of the Queens down, but this is a defense from Solar. Very well done as he handles this attack of Clem with grace, considering the fact that it did not feel as though he was super well set up, and considering he's being quite a greedy player, the fact he gets away with this without really taking any damage is amazing for Solar, because now he's got super fast melee upgrades. Now he's going to have Bane speed starting up, and there's probably not going to be an attack anytime soon. Melee upgrades still coming about. Ling Bane Queen coming through. Barracks and +1 upgrades from Clem coming up and online as well. Marine's going to hit a couple of those Lings. Hellions going to chase around the sides. So again, our melee upgrades brought on through as that Bane speed comes up. Hydrogen's dying. More barracks coming in as well. Is going to stem after those few Lings. Hellions chasing up also. Marine's going to come forward. Queen going to take a few shots of damage. We do see the next little bit of this push coming through, and Soul actually hits a supply block. He does at least have melee upgrades now as Clem needs to get rid of those Banes before they connect. There's a couple would have managed to back Clem up here as well. Yeah, if the Banes is going to the Hellbats, that ain't so bad. The Hellbats are pretty much knocked down now. Now Clem really does need to get to work on those Bane lanes as he just decides to lift up and back away instead. But hey, next wave, still hit him with a little bit of a power. Again, 1-1 on the way up from Clem, so that's about a finish. He'll even out the upgrades here, but unable to really break onto this base. The creep spread is maybe not incredible for Solar because Clem is on top of some of these locations. So that's the one thing that you could say is kind of going Clem's way right now, is that he's keeping that creep spread pretty heavily pinned back. 2-2 coming up on both sides. The melee upgrade's already halfway done though from Solar, so he's much further ahead. Again, that greed from the early game that was mentioned is going to keep coming back around. Marines moving up. A couple creep teamers still getting knocked. And you see our Marines still flying. Another Woodamine shot goes. Woodamine's burrowing up again. The Lings still trying to run forward. Our Marines are going to turn once again. Couple of Banes likely. Actually, not target fire down. I thought Clem might turn and target fire those. It didn't feel like there was too many. Marines still moving about. 2-2 melee upgrades still coming in. Hydras, Banes, Lings continue to gather together. A couple of those Banes getting knocked down again. Going back one more time, those Marines Still dealing with the Banes. I tell you what, this constant pressure at Clem is impressive, as he's been able to get so much value out of it. Still knocking down Banelings as he runs here. 4k to 6.2k resources lost, looking great for Clem in that regard, as yeah, he's going to own this position with the mines as well. Now, 2-2 just finished up on the side of Solo, but I'm not sure he has enough to necessarily make much of a difference there. The Widow Mines don't do much, at least, so that's a good part of this from Solo. There's one Widow Mine left, hits the Queens. Queens are low. Do manage to drop some transfusions out of them. Now the Widow Mine trying to find shots onto the Hydras. Back and forth continuing here. Oh, a Baneling slips through and a couple of Marines go down. Is this finally the defense from Solo, as he is going to need the Overseer just to clean up those Widow Mines. Push that back once and for all, for the moment at least, and just clean this out. It's been a pretty hectic time, hasn't it? Pretty darn busy. Queen just going to be getting blown up, so those Widow Mines still around. We actually have another Widow Mine here. It's going to hit the mineral line. Oh my goodness, we're going to look elsewhere as there's a push going in. Obs decided to look somewhere else, as we do see some SUVs going down at the same time. Clem already doing well. The Hydra's eating a Widow Mine is not pretty. Solar Supply is actually struggling suddenly. I mean, we already knew that Clem was on a slight lead, but not quite as lead like this. I think right now detection is the issue. We need to get Overseers here to actually start cleaning up these mines. Let's come back over. Lingbane Hydra still moving about. We have got the adrenal, adrenal lens, but also size of expands on the way. The switch to lurkers. If we get to lurkers, Solar is always in such a good position. Solar is so good at just hanging on until the lurkers are available. When my shot goes off, Bio still pushing forward. Going down, Overseer getting hit. Another Bane going down, Overlord getting picked away at. Two drones picked off during this. Clem still on that supply lead. As we continue to kill some drones. And any drone that goes down, just little things you have to replace. Obviously, we do have lurkers now out and available, so that's going to be something you have to do at this point as well. Deal with the fact that these lurkers are active, and that means Ghost likely going to have to come about here. Mine shoot, shots going off, but nothing too major. Medivac's just forced to lift up and back away. Now we're going to get maxed out, so all of that pressure that Clem applied is going to come to a little bit of a close now. Medivac coming back through. We do see the Vipers coming back around a little bit as well. CC goes down. Hit SCVs as a run by hits the third base, but it is going to be the Bioforce that's just trying to get out of trouble here, trying to stay clear and just get as much value as possible before we lift. Hopefully, I mean, obviously, ideally, you don't have to lift because then you can protect this base. I don't think Clem really has an option. He heads really far back, but eventually just has to go. Lifts Marines only, lets the Marauders soak up Banelings, so gets a little bit of value out of that. Lurkers burrow up, and again, the harassment on these bases is great from Solo, continuing to pick Clem apart a little bit, and tell you what, Solar is, in my eyes, on his way to playing out a masterful game, because he is starting to do a lot of damage to Clem, and it was so close, it was so tense for Solar surviving earlier on. If he does make it through this, then it really is something amazing. More Lurkers coming up. We get ourselves the Adaptive Talons on the way, so Lurkers going to have more burrow movement. Solar's actually very far behind on the 3-3 now. Bane, Hydra, Lurker joining up together. See the rest of the side moving up the right side. Liberator getting taken out by the Queens. think VivianSankey just going to come back over and just going to know knocking on the rocks. Who's the observer? It isn't Wardy. I'm following Inu's cam. Inu's the Korean caster. He's usually very good at observing. Much better than I am, which is why I put it on his cam. Some of the things I point out that he's missing, I would have just missed myself if I was observing. I only noticed them because I'm able to pay more attention to the minimap and stuff because I'm not busy making the camera look good, you know. Bane's going to keep crashing through. A couple Widowmine shots coming off. The Ling Bane Hydra trying to break through this position. It's very ghost heavy there from Clem. As you do see the Widowmines carrying their weight though. Able to keep this pushed back for the moment, if nothing else. Final gathering. We do see more Banelings still coming up here on the side of Solo as he looks to keep the pressure going on this side of the map. Coming in from two different angles as Solo tries to make a move forward. Clemmer's just scanning on the forward base, I think, trying to get a read on where Solo's economy might be at. And the Ling Bane pulls away from the SCVs. Could have maybe had a few more of those retreating SCVs. We're just going to finish off that factory. Solo will pull back and obviously has still got pretty decent money in the bank to rebuild, with Nidus attempts coming through soon as well, as the Nidus network is now on the way up, so we're getting that ready to go. Country Fortress still coming around. We obviously have ourselves another CC coming up. Clem trying to stay established in this. What's the resources lost at now? Still about a 3.5k difference in favor of Clem. Solo currently has bases and workers for days though, so the efficiency does not matter too much on that. Whereas these Lings still moving through. Ghost moving about. Marine Marauder still coming up. We have a few more Widowmines on the way by. As we just see. So I'm going to maybe lose the top right base. Clem's going to try and establish a base over there even. He needs to make sure he's got enough over here though. Ghost getting a little bit wrapped around and that's never pretty. As these Ghosts need to kind of save themselves. Ghosts are necessary for the deeper stages. You don't want to have to replace those, some of the more expensive units. And of course always lift them into medevacs as they pull back away. A few more Banes still crashing through. Reinforcements are showing up from Clem. And pushes Solo back, but it's always Clem that seems to drop supplies. Solo just obviously able to instantly rebuild into those Zerglings. So many of them just on the way every time a fight breaks out. Back up the right-hand side, we are going to see some Lings diving through. Missile turret and the Sense Tower going down. Some SCVs are going to get jumped on. Bio continuing to fight a little bit. Another orbital command. Trying to figure out how to land, what to do. Widowmine shot is very good onto a lot of Lings. Continue to pull the Bio away there as the Ghosts coming through as well. Solar has been chipping away at Clem, however, is going to lose out on this base. No, I think Clem's a little bit afraid of the units turning around to come and get him, so he's going to try and pull back quickly. Has a scan on that. He's going to EMP the Infestors, so stops the fungal growth. Clem doing a lot of things right. Just unable to, I think, really, again... I mean, he's just struggled to take some of the larger fights, but I mean, he's definitely doing a lot of good movement with the army. He's definitely making sure he's not being caught off guard with, like, clumsy units that are moving about. So he's doing a lot of that right. It's just when it comes to the larger fights, we've yet to see Clem really come out with a big win in a little while. That's obviously kind of concerning. That's a massive fungal growth as the medevacs all get caught. Finally, Clem is caught in a bit of a mistake. 2 full medevacs died there to the Hydras. Now we're going to jump on top of this planetary fortress, and the units just have to spawn out of the medevacs as they go. That's obviously not ideal. Clem going to lose SCVs and too much army here, I think. That's probably going to be the game breaker for Solar, as now he can leak into the top right-hand side. He's going to be able to pick off this base as well, and that really is going to be Clem in trouble, as suddenly he's knocked down to 3 bases. Obviously very deep into this game, it's just not 3 bases that can keep on mining. Those Ghosts go down and Clem's supply is gone. That fungal growth, finally, I'm just complimenting Clem on a lot of his movements and kind of awareness around the map, but he gets caught in a devastating fungal, and that really does do it. Widowminer 2 gonna set up, bam bam, and a bunch of lings go down. Still at 180 to the 130 supply. And it's just gonna try and, I mean, it's always difficult to clean up a Terran player, right? This last scrap of army feels so tough to get through. Army supply is still fairly even, right? So you still gotta play this with the respect you've been playing with all game. Just knowing that he's not gonna be able to really replenish this like he's been doing all game. Multiple fungals going down. Clem might just be tapping out of this one because that is everything going down here. Bar one medevac and a couple of units. 100 supply difference. Clem is still running around to try and make something happen with his final few forces, but I think it's fair to say that this one is pretty much just done. As the thing gonna attach itself, or few lings gonna attach itself to SCVs and mules. Got the Bane rolling over, the few of the lings coming about. GG, says Clem, and we are out of here with Solo off to a 1-0 lead. Fantastic opening map here on Site Delta, as Sola really is able to just hold on, survive in some very difficult, tricky situations. We just make it through. And then we get ourselves to a point where Lurkers come out, and pretty much always when Lurkers come out, Sola is just going to turn the game on its head. And that's exactly what he did this time around as well, as we get ready for Game 2. Alright, this player's readying up. We're just waiting for Sola to swap to Zerg, and we can start this game 2 as we go to Oceanborn for our second game. So important for Clem to try and bounce back here. Map 3 will be Alcyone, Map 4 Crimson, Map 5 Amphion. Not a bad set of maps. I mean, I don't think of any of those as maps which just like, oh my goodness, this map's so big, like so good for the Zerg or something. I mean, Crimson's usually a Terran pick. Oceanborn's probably Clem's pick as well. So probably Clem loses Solo's map pick. Now he gets a couple picks of his own to try and start bringing this series back. If this rest of the series has any sort of tendency to go towards, you know, how the first game was, we are in for a hell of a matchup here today in the finals of ESL Open Cup Korea number 237. Eking out that lead and win in Game 1 is our Vitality Red Zerg player, Sola, in the top left of Oceanborn, now for Game 2. Bottom right, our blue Terran is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. As we move on into second game of this series. Overlord, moving on to the map. We get that set up. Off and away we go for this next game. And Solo was so good against Bjorn early, and I kind of wanted to say a little bit of that was kind of, you know, hey, Bjorn has not been as great lately, but no doubt here this has turned into a pretty impressive situation. Alright, well, Overlord just chills over here, and drone spawn pool coming up, Reaper on the way from Clem, nothing wild. Early, obviously, it's only the one racks as well. Honestly, kind of a wild game, because I feel like Clem did not do as much as he maybe wanted to do with his initial, Yeah, I don't feel like he did as much as he wanted to with his initial push, but his continued pushes actually did very, very well. Did really amazing. And then just couldn't quite ever get to a finishing point. Came the issue. Here we are now heading into game number 2. And we'll see if Clem can make it be a bit different. Obviously, I think Seidel is one of those difficult maps to keep pushing on, and so if Clem gets a similar situation on Oceanborn, maybe he does just find himself with enough power to break through compared to what we saw in that last game. So, I mean, we'll see. As this Reaper continues to move around, Queen just going to be sitting out the front for a little bit as well. Queen's gonna chase, Reaper's gonna get pushed around a little bit. Queen's continue to come over. Reaper is gonna go down, so nice catch from Solo, getting rid of that and stopping it from being able to do too much extra already. That's always going to be a plus. We have a couple of Cyclones will continue to make their way forward, so I'm just going to be coming through as well. See what may happen here. Two Cyclones make their way straight forwards. It's going to lock on, and that's going to be an overload kill, unless we get to the high ground, which we do. The Cyclones are going to be still with these couple of Hellions able to go poke forward a little bit. We've seen that Cyclone lock on, still trying to get through, trying to get a little bit of extra damage done here. You see the Cyclones in the end just have to pull back, but not a bad attempt so far, I would say. Let's just have the Bane Nest still continuing up. Two Queens still gathering together. Lingbane still coming through. Stimpack is also on the way up as well, so we get that going. Lingbane in production here. We have ourselves a few Lings making their way out down to the bottom side of the map. So we're going to get kind of aggressive right now. This is a lot of Lingbane. This is a pretty big commitment, so we are going to send it right here. So get set to rumble. Well, the Banes are going to crash through the depots, and as the Banes crash through those depots, the Marines and the Cyclones have to pull back. We kind of need Banes to still connect, though. These Marines are starting to split. They have Stim. Solo is going to have a lot more Lings coming through. Clem supply blocked here. These Banes could have really had SCVs there. I don't know what they were doing. They got like stuck or caught up or something. They were kind of really struggling to kind of keep on moving forward, it felt like. That got a little bit messy, unfortunately, and I actually really do think that could have been so much better than it was for Solar. I feel like if you get towards some of these SCVs, that has got to be one of your goals typically, and in this case we just missed the opportunity. Drones, couple of Evos still coming up, and combat shields coming through. Another attack, just gonna fire away, push the Lings away. Marines, Cyclones, still on a bit of a movement. Off and away we go. As the melee upgrades continue through. The +1 attack, +1, not even +1 armor yet from Clem. He does have a second engineering bay though, so could absolutely put that to use. I'm just going to start pushing. Supplies in his favor as the attacker solo just did not work out well enough now. Back on it, like I said, I really feel like he had to get some more SCVs, and I feel like there was a chance, but the Banes just did not find their way over to those workers. And that might have just been where this series took its turn fully into Clem's favor. Well, not series, but this game took its turn fully into Clem's favor as come forwards here. The Banes do not have speed, so they're not that threatening. That's the problem. We'll target fire a few and lift up, but obviously it's already good value. Marines unload. Overseer gonna get knocked down. The rest of these lings getting picked off. As you see Clem just continue to drop around. He's going to keep on chasing the queen. Potential to get damage in this main base. A few lings are going to stream across now. We'll get there, but then we can just lift up once again. Queens will get rid of one marine on the low ground. As we'll continue to fight, a few more lings getting picked off. Again, melee upgrades coming through. +2 attacks starting up on the side of Clem. +1 armor continue to come through. Extra Banes is going to pop out. Wondermine's going to pop. Our +2 attack coming through. Our Marines coming forwards. Ling's going to be getting a wrap around there. The Bane's going to continue forwards as well. As we do see the tanks getting caught. The Banes will just waddle forwards. It's just still no Bane speed, right? So you're just in so much trouble. Clem's fight is going to be good enough to take this to a 1-1 series. We are going to have a battle on our hands as we get ready for game number 3 here. Start this off in a moment. Solar and Clem, CVT. Game at number 3. We're all tied up. We go to Alcyone, so... Actually, I thought it was Crimson 3rd, no? Well, Alcyone 3, Crimson 4, Amphion 5, okay. So Alcyone goes back to being one of the bigger maps, and maybe one of the ones where Clem cannot just keep up that constant pressure on, so we'll see how this goes. If you are enjoying the day, guys, the stream, again, just another quick mention. You can support the channel and what we do here on Wardy TV by subscribing, donating, cheering, and following. It really does go a long way to helping us out. It really does mean a lot if you can do so. As we kick off into game number 3. Bottom left, I read Zerg. It's going to be Solar. In the top right, our blue Terran is going to be Clem. Game 3 of this best of 5. Up and away we go as we settle down. Like I say, Alcyone, another one of these bigger maps, could absolutely be impactful. Creeper coming about, Orbital coming in. Just gonna have our hatch gas and pool coming up. Our drone continues to come by for a moment. Creeper continues to push forwards here. And Queens, Slings, Overlord continue to come through as we get settled down. Ling still chase that SCV. Hatchery will drop onto the position. Let's set up. Queen, right back, gonna go. Get pushed away. Gonna come back through again. Grenade goes down. Queen just gonna get bounced back. And a couple of SCVs. Command center continue to come in. The barracks gonna move over to the side. Maybe I'm still trying to get forward, not able to do too much. And we've seen again the Hellions coming about, Starport coming up, Command Center and the Hellion continuing through. Queens, Overlords, all on the way. And Reaper still trying to poke up that ramp on the right side, but not quite going to be able to do too much. And the Reaper comes forward, there's going to be a couple of drones going down. Such a really nice damage. 5 drones early like this for Clem. Gonna slow Solar down a lot in these early stages. Yeah, you lose a couple Hellions, but drones, it's that cost to rebuild. It's always gonna be frustrating. And it goes down. A couple Lings getting chased about. I think it's just gonna be still trying to get onto the Reaper Hellions. And the Hellions will get a couple more Lings there as well. We continue through. And that is one more Hellion going down. Maybe no more drone kills here, so much better defense from Solar. Now it looks a little bit worse. Couple Hellions pushing through. The Queens are going to be there. Hellions get pushed back. Interference Matrix coming up. Stimpack building from Clem. Obviously continuing into that bio play. Clem can sometimes throw the curveball and play the mech, but don't think that's necessary in the series right now. Hellions coming through. A couple Queens going to chase those Hellions away. Bit more damage coming out. Banshee turned back to the center. You have engineering base, barracks, all coming through. The Bane Nest is coming up as well from Solar. That's about halfway done currently. The lair is about to complete. There's a few more drones, a few more Lings, and the Queen all continuing into play. Ling speed coming up right now. And that Bane Nest about to finish. The Evo Chamber's coming up. And Banshee's going to move in towards the natural. Carapace, melee coming through. Link speed halfway done. The Bane speed still coming up. Additional Marines are all coming out. Still waiting on that 1-1 on combat shields from Clem to really come through. And that's going to be a next power point for him to get on the map and start taking some trades. Just gonna grab one Creep Dumas, Ball Crawling coming up, the Bane speed coming up, melee upgrade still coming through. Still having a solid 1-1 upgrades and combat shield in production. Marines move into the center, taking the watchtower as we go. Just gonna see the rest of these Marines unloading around the bottom side. We're just gonna be seeing the Overlord. And they get jumped on. A couple of Creep Demons going to get scanned and killed. But as the Ling Bane still coming up, Queen's moving forward. Hellions are there to push the Lings back. Now morphing into those Hellbats as Clem. 13 Marines at a time, very committed to this push that he set up for himself. Marines currently have to lift back into the medevac, sure, but still holding the watchtower. We have so many reinforcements on the way. The only thing that's really missing is arguably, I was kind of expecting Clem to have more siege tanks. He hasn't lost any in the game, just only has 2 out, third one building. Really feels like that will be a big part of this as Marine tank continues to move down into the center. That Marine tank spread continues. We do see a couple of the tanks sieged on the right side towards the gold. Marines come through, a couple of creep teamers getting knocked down, and Marines are going to go pushing. Queen, Ling, Bane coming about. A few more Marines are going to stim it up. We're just going to have our Ling Bane pushing forward there. A couple of those Hellbats going down. Still gathering everything else up together. Clem trying to advance forwards as Solar will slowly make his way to that infestation pit. So a long way away from any other tech, but at least we'll have some other tech able to go at some points. At least it's not going to be a complete kind of disassociation from continuing to tech up. Bane crashes through, the Marines pull back. Clem still advancing and trying to set up a chokehold on Solar's game. As we move towards this ramp once again, the few Marines stepping in and out, moving in and towards and away from this little force. The medevacs go boosting, the heals come in. Next tank gets another step forward. Clem's very spread right now, but obviously I guess a lot of these forward units will just pull back to the further back units should this fight happen, as we are going to see Solar coming in from left, right, and bottom. This is where the spreader Clem will be advantageous for him, because now he really does need to be spread out to take this fight. Most of the Banelings hitting singular Marines, no big clumps of Marines punished there. And Solar does a lot to dislodge Clem. I feel like with this next round of Bane, Solar might be able to just go again and actually remove Clem from this position on the map altogether. Right now, though, those Banes aren't ready, and the Marines are taking a very good fight during this as they come through. We're going to lose a few of these Marines as the Hydra start to target down medevacs. Here come the Banes. As soon as the Banes show up, I think it's just difficult to trade here, because Clem, like I say, doesn't really have the tanks to help himself. As the Marines load up, the medevacs pull away, getting out of there for the moment and resetting the situation. So the tank will get sieged up. Marines are still pressing forward. Moving up, it's going to be seeing a Queen already taking some shots. A couple of Banes getting knocked down, 2 more Banes getting taken out here. And that Marine medevac force is going to continue forward. Blings and Banes are going to keep running through. It's going to be seeing the medevac still pulling back. The Overseer will go down. The Lings are still dropping. Clem, about 20 supply down. So you see that Marine's going to load back into those medevacs who go back up the right. Marines moving around, tanks setting up. We do see 3-3 on the way, plus 1 vehicle weapons coming up. Solo will go for a counterattack here. Clem comes down this ramp, is able to deal with it. Lurking down on the way. We're counting towards that point. Again, towards that point where Solar was so good in that first game. Bane Hydra moving about. As we just have our 3-3 upgrade still coming through. The concussive shells, the plus 1 vehicle weapons. Continuing to build in. Adrenal glands and seismic spines coming up, so again we're seeing more of that importance continue to come through here currently. And still trying to come around, Ling Bay and Hydra joining up together. Still got some siege tanks on the way, seismic spines and adrenal glands coming up as well. Continue to get this going. I'm just gonna knock down this set of rocks. Open up this space. Army's still moving around. We have got our medevacs loading up again. Marines are going to be moving through. Just going to be seeing 3 CCs on the way out. A couple of Vikings coming up as well. And there's 4 more ghosts on the way. Clem very happy to accept this late game situation that is arising here on Alcyone. Clem's always been one of those players that when he 8-racks us, he sometimes does have that 4th base, and he does sometimes find the transition where a lot of other people just really try and send it and GG if it doesn't work. In this case, it's one of those times where it's going to benefit him, because obviously the 8-racks itself did not get the job done. Now, he's down a hatchery bottom right side, so that's an army top left as well. Could maybe go for the newer base there, although I think Solar has a larger army in that position. May not be as successful as, again, Ghost Academy coming up. Nice order tracking, Triple C Seal coming through. Those 2 vehicle weapons and Neosteel plating is coming in as well. Clem really gets into all the late game upgrades. That will just help that a little bit as the game continues to progress. Hatchery here goes down. As that bio will show up, Hatchery going to take a few shots. Now they're coming move through. A couple tanks and ghosts continuing up. Just gonna have ourselves, what, 5 bases set up across the board. Lingbane Hydra still settling down, ready to push in on the right. On the top left, Clem's army gets getting chased away, but this could just load into the medevacs and be gone. Solo though, gonna dive on this 5th base and try and stop Clem from getting this set up. That was only Lings to the top left, so they go down pretty quickly. Now the tank's getting blinding clouded, but the bio will get out of those blind clouds and will knock down most of the Banes. Lose 15 SCVs, but I think there's a pretty good army fight from Clem. Restores has lost 4,000 in Clem's favor, but again, look at the bank of Solar. Solar can absolutely afford to lose resources more quickly than Clem can right now. That's going to be the whole point of this playstyle. To keep on rebuilding, to keep on expanding, to keep on mining, and even if you trade inefficiently, eventually you just wear the Terran down, especially if you can deny the bases. Okay, and still moving through. Marines are pulling back. Ghosts as well. The planetary fortress has to lift up and move away. We've seen the 7 SCVs going down. Solo continues back down to the bottom right. Plus 3 vehicle weapons coming up. The ghosts and tanks all building. Other command center places onto the front lines. Lingbane Hydra coming through, just going to start jumping onto this top side. Another blinding cloud coming down. Solo just wants to keep the fights going, give Clem as little time to rebuild as possible. I love the turnaround onto the upper right, away from the siege tanks on that high ground, the best you can. However, there's the snipes coming through, and that's where Solo will lose a lot of Hydras, and that's going to make this a lot tougher for Solo. It's going to be a lot more expensive to rebuild out of than what we were trading before. Look on that left side, just going to be poking about. Solar rebuilds. Still has a very cozy bank, 4.3 to 3k. I mean, Clem is really only building with whatever money he mines at any moment in time. Bank has not existed for him at all. And yeah, Solar is trading inefficiently. But like I say, he's got the map, and so he can afford to do that. There's a few more Banes morph in on the right. Let's try and make a little bit of a move there. The additional ghosts and siege tanks all coming up. And plus 3 vehicle weapons is about to complete as well. So we'll try to break the top side, which I feel like is one of the more well-positioned defenses. Clem did get up to base 5 in the end. Like firing, couple SCVs taking some damage. You know, Ghost that bio gonna start moving out once again. Oh, we actually do find a little gap here. Some of the Banes getting through. I mean, this is, I guess, a nice position to deny in the end, as we'll be able to knock those orbitals down. That's actually pretty sick. I didn't think Solo was going to find a way into this position. It was the problem with the orbital wall off, but does pretty well for himself. The planetary fortress goes down. Again, Solo just keeping Clem from mining. 15 more SCVs are falling. Clem's economy continually kept very much so in the gutter here in this game. Coming up to 20 minutes deep on Alcyone right now. The Lings are going to show up. One siege tank going down already. The rest of the Lings kind of gathering together, figuring out what they want to do. Never understand why gas isn't mined from the forward bases. In this case, Solo's not really needing much gas because he's rebuilding very kind of mineral heavy on his army. You could argue that it's probably good if he mines some of the gas there now so that it doesn't become an issue later in the game if he loses those bases, but I think he just wants to make sure that he's just fully committed to clearing up right now. The idea of losing out later isn't really on his mind. I mean, in theory, I think you probably should mine gas off forward bases because it's better to have that gas mined than to kind of need to get that gas later in the game, right? Maybe seeing the battle getting over there. We're just going to see that Knight is going down. CC going to move across as well. Playing his Hydras, getting in position. We're just going to be seeing that Order Command taking some damage. Couple SCVs. Getting chased back. The Ghost and the Bioforce will come back over once more. Clem is really just playing that surviving game. Just try to survive. Don't let this get too, just try and hope that Solo kind of overcommits at some point. It's just hard to see that happening. Solo is a little bit less bank than he used to have. He's getting so many tech units here. Tanks going down. The few ghosts cloaked up are the one thing that's going to save. And a couple infestors, Lings, Overseers all coming up. The tank and the planetary fortress coming up as well. And Ling's still trying to sneak through as the lurker goes down as well. Hydra is going to try and find a way up to the top. The Ghost's in trouble once again there. Ghost's taking some damage. So another few Banelings just on the way through. The Lurkers, the Hydras are coming about here. Orbital Command lifts off and gets away. We will see again a couple Ghosts, Medevac, Siege Tank will continue to come through. These Banes are still going to come over, and the Ghosts going to have to escape away from this. Overseers overhead, still got Ling Hydra coming about. Moving up around the top, the Ghosts would still love to try and get something done. It's just difficult to find the right position, as it really feels as though Sola has done the work here on Alcyone to put himself into the lead of the series once again. Crimson Court coming up as map 4, map 5, Amphion if we need it. If Clem is able to tie us up on Crimson Court, because this one is absolutely going the way of Sola. It's obviously been heading this way for quite some time, but we're just at that point now. As Ling Hydra pushes through. The Ghost Snipe still coming about. Hydra's Banes taking some shots. I'm just going to keep on pushing forwards. Just going to be seeing the rest of these Ghosts still taking some shots as well. Medevac's going down. Hydra's absolutely playing clear up. Solar gets the win. Clem gives in. And Solar once again on top of this series to a 2-1 lead now and a map away from claiming victory in today's Open Cup career. Clem looking a little bit washed when it comes to these kind of bigger games. Unable to really take a lot. I mean, obviously this one was all about trying to 8-racks initially, but just was never able to really settle down into the more comfortable setup after, you know, the big fights start breaking out. Just wasn't able to keep up there at all. Put him into some tough positions. Jumping into this next map then, guys. Could be our last of the day if Clem can't pull it back. See what happens. As we go into this, and in the bottom left, we are going to start off with the red Zerg, who is up 2-1. It is Solar. Taking on the blue Terran in the top right-hand side, trying to bring it back. It is Team Liquid's Clem. Can he take us to one final map after this one? Or is he going to just succumb to these big fights of Solar that have been extremely successful throughout the course of this series thus far? We'll be finding out real soon. And been doing his best to survive in that game 1, in that game 3, but Solar's been so good at just making sure that his trades are good enough that he's denying economy and bases when he's taking those trades, and that is big reasons why he's able to do decently. Mark's coming up, Patch Pool coming in. CC coming up, Queen's on the way out, nothing too crazy to start us off from Crimson Core as we catch our breath after a pretty hectic series so far. But still moves about here. Let's see, a couple more CCs continue to come about for the moment. And the orbital, the CC, starport all coming up. We have our Overlord taking some damage. Overlord chilling out overhead. We do see the couple Queens coming over. Reaper just gonna get pushed away. Clem's about to finish. Roach Roan coming up. Again, Roach Roan about to finish up. Couple of loads coming through. Lean speed on the way out. Clem, what he's going to do here on Crimson Court, actually too sure. As the Marines is going to be firing up on the Overlord. Medevac loads up the 4 Hellions. And those 2 Marines are going to get rid of the Overlord there. That will go down as a couple more barracks coming through. Stimpack building on the side of Clem. Getting that up and running as well. Ling speed still coming by. Ling Roach on the way. Hellions are going to try and drop across. 4 of them beginning to unload. Solar has no drones here, so that ain't going to go anywhere. Solar does have those roaches coming up. Ling speed finishing. Does he just commit to this Roach Ling attack? It really feels like yes, but he's supply blocked, so maybe that takes away some of the timing of this. Let's see what he builds out of the supply block, because he's going to move the Roaches across. He can morph Ravages, and he can build Lings, and they're going to run across quickly. The problem is, with the supply block, everything is just slowed down. And these Hellions are causing trouble, albeit not near any drones. Still causing a little bit of a runabout. We're going to lose a couple of them now. Ravages are morphing, so yeah, Solar's going to send this. He wants to close this out quickly. He doesn't want to play another long game. He says this series has gone on long enough so far. Medevac still joining up. The Ravagers still joining together. Still got a +1 stim going through. Again, additional Marines coming about as well as a couple of Biles are going to drop in between or onto that bunker. Biles continuing to land. The SCVs wrapping around for potential repair. We are going to see a few more of those SCVs getting picked off. Good Biles going to force the SCVs off so the bunker goes down. Thought the Lings were going to commit on those Marines there. That might have been the time to go, as we do obviously have Stim on the way up. Not done just yet. It's a lot of Ravagers. Can the Ravagers reach the siege tank? I do not think they can, so if you can't get rid of that tank, that's an issue. Ravagers going to get rid of the depot. Like I say, those siege tanks now, 2 of them. I don't think this is going to be enough for Solar as he goes dive in for the tank, but it's just not going to work. And Clem, defensively, once again, just as he did in Game 2, is going to pull ahead in this game. I think Solar had deadly moments there, but he just got stuck trying to reach those siege tanks in the end. More drones continue to come up. Our hatch getting settled. Drones gathering up. Just going to see a Medevac coming down the bottom left. +1 armor is going to finish up from Clem. Combat shields coming through as well. Wings wrap around, set of rocks taking some damage. It's going to be there. Medevac gets turned. Still got the 1-1 upgrades. The Roach speed coming about. That's going to be infestation pick going down as well. Speed continuing through as the Medevac loads up, gets away from a couple of those queens. Mostly this game settles down with Clem in a pretty good spot to start us off. I mean, gets that defense going. 1-1 upgrade's already done for him, so he's already going to be looking to start trading. As he gets forwards here, and a couple of few teamers go down. Some Morphin Ravages. Well, we're going to deny one of those at the very least, unless those transfusions are enough. They were not. Actually kills the second Ravager as it spawns, so that means you don't even get a refund on it. And it's Clem. Yeah, looking very comfortable right now. Starts +2 armor, but not +2 attack. Hopefully fixes that very soon once he gets the gas for it. As these Marines do not really... Well, actually, this is an okay fight, especially with 1-1 to 0-0. If the Lings don't manually wrap around, that does work. Still not starting the +2 attack upgrade. Get that on the way. Let's have double engineering bay. There we go, +2 attack starts. Hiving the Lurker down from Solo. He's just going to try and dive up to Lurkers and just hope that he can get there and basically draw this game out and win off the Lurkers. Basically, that's what we are playing for right now. That's what we're trying to get to. Thanks, Sieging Marines still trying to move forwards. Roach, Ravager, Ling, Hydra join together as well. These Marines still trying to move on up. He's going to try and push straight forwards. Yes, Corrosive File's going to land onto the siege tank, but only 2 of them hit, so there's only 1 tank that gets damaged. The other tanks are powerful here, but Solo just doesn't have enough because he's trying to be super greedy building up into the Lurkers, and he's just not going to get there. We're going to game 5. We're going the distance. Solo, every time he tries to be aggressive, he does not do well. Trying to end this series quickly is not working in his favor at the moment. That is where this is all going wrong for him. That is where Clem is getting himself the wins in the series. So if you're Solo and going into game 5, I think you've just got to play for a longer game because that's where you've been at your absolute best. Waiting for everyone to accept an invite into the game number 5 to round out today's ESL Open Cup career. That is BRB, which is our current delay. Alright guys, just waiting for the players. I'll be good to go in a moment or two. Take a moment, guys. Like I said, just play as a BRB, as we have a second before our final game of the day. Pick this off in just a moment, though, to get back to it. Clem wins this game, he becomes the 3rd ever player to win all 3 weeklies. Yeah. Ain't that a stat? Who else has done it? Probably Raynor. Trying to think who else. Q as well, right? Because Q is the Korean player that's won Europe, which is probably the biggest challenge. Q went through like a little phase of playing in the European weeklies in like 2021 or something. Winning the European one is the tough part. I feel like Sola gave it a go for a little bit as well in the European weekly. I feel like he had a few runs where he hit top 4 or something when he wanted to play. The top left is going to be our red Zerg. This is going to be Sola. As we take on the bottom left, blue Terran player Clem. Max Pax and Cure. Wow, not Reno? That surprised me. Reno just never won Korea despite being here for a while. Damn. Didn't realize that. Alright, well. Let me get into this. Let me get ready to go. Did Max Pax win Korea when everyone was like traveling from an event as well? So that's probably what happened. Alright, well, Clem's bottom left and Solar is upper left. As we go into one final game today, Clem and Solar best of 5 CVT coming at us right now as we get settled into play. A hatch gas and pool coming up, the drone coming in. Barracks is finishing from Clem. Only the one rack, so we've not gone back into that multi-racks Reaper setup or anything since the start. See, beam back into the center again. Hatch gas and pool coming through. Orbital command is coming up. The Reaper on the way. SCV still continuing across as we just have the hatch about to finish up on the natural. Well, it's just a factory with no second gas just yet, so as long as that second gas isn't coming down, we're looking towards the 3cc from Clem. And the question will be from Solo, are we going to try and be aggressive again? Because that really hasn't worked for him. Or does he just accept that this is likely going to end up just having to be a longer game if he wants to really have his best possible shot? SCV coming through on the orbital, nothing exciting really, just a third CC starting in the main base, kind of what we saw coming with the gas setup, etc. We're going to get turned away by a couple of the queens. We're going to move forward. Reaper is just moving about a little bit. I think the Marine's going to go nibbling at the Overlord. You can see it's about finished. A couple Hellions coming through. The starport completes. Hellions going to be there. Reaper moving forward. Second, the hatchery is going to be finishing up in a couple of moments. Lib, Hellions, CC, all coming through. As our refinery also comes into play, Reaper Hellion continue to get going. Continue to move around the top side. Queen's going to come across. The Reaper and the Hellions continue through. Stimpack starts on the side of Clem, so we see him moving into his bioplay once again. No real surprises there. Overlord just comes flying through. Marine will go for it. We'll grab the Overlord right there. Still got that couple of extra barracks on the way through. The Stimpack is building up. Continue to get this on the way as our Queens move up towards the top side. Hellions coming forward as well. Wants to come around the back. The Queens get there. Liberator is still just chased away for the moment. As our Hellions and the Reaper come back around that right-hand side for now. Hellions still trying to cut through. The Queens seeing what they can do as well. Obviously, would like to play the defenses. Has been fairly aggressive with the Hellions in some of the games in this series. Oh, that's an awkward position. The Queens struggle to hit the Liberator there. Liberator just going to keep shooting at that Overlord nearby. We've seen the 1-1, the combat shield coming through. The Hellions going to get back to the right. A couple of Queens moving about as well. Well, Amphion is going to be expanding out to the 4th base from Solar. Clem has got his stim. He is going to push forward with his first few Marines now, trying to see what he can do. Gonna dive through. Actually, a couple of Queens just out the front here. Gonna get dove on. Well, one of the better pushes that Clem's had in terms of just kind of coming in with some aggression. As we are gonna see Hellions moving into Hellbats. Banelings gonna be up in a second. They do not have Baneling speed, so that's gonna be a problem as well as we leave the Hellbats to try and do some tanking. The Banes do crash into them. All of the Queens going down. Massive victory for Clem right here. He'll target down those Banes, and that means these Lings are never gonna clean up these Marines without upgrades. Game just ends right then and there. Clem with the push and just catches Solar off guard. Wow. Clem just finding a few Queens and it all just comes crashing down for Solar after such a hard-fought series. Solar looked better later in the games, but Clem just looked better early when it came to defending, aggression, and also in this case just dealing some aggression as well. Clem, one of the very few non-Korean players to win out a ESL Open Cup Korea. MaxPax did it one time. Oliveira's obviously done it a few times in terms of non-Koreans, but I think that's about it. It's a region that has been kept on lock by the Koreans. It's a very, very rare. Oh, we had a Canadian win one time too. Is that a Scarlet victory? Yeah, Cup number 11, Scarlet won. March 2022. Damn. Yeah, Scarlet won one time as well, but generally, it's a very Korean-heavy cup. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all dropping by and tuning in. It was a great day of StarCraft 2, a fantastic ESL Open Cup career. That's going to be it for me today. Again, I'm here tomorrow with the Wardy TV Summer Bash action. We've got a really fun group tomorrow. Rogue, Classic, MaxPax, Ryung, and Young Yakov. Going to be happening tomorrow, so you can tune in for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. Really looking forward to it as well. Hopefully you guys are too. Thursday, we're going to have Wardy TV Summer Bash with Nightmare, Creator, Spirit, Lancer, and Wayne. And on Wednesday, we're going to have Kung Fu Cup action. I am away Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week, so I will not be here for WTL and so on, but I am here for those few games the next few days. So make sure you guys drop by and hang out. Hit the follow button if you didn't already. Prime sub if you can afford to. If you've got it available, it's always appreciated. It goes such a long way to helping out. And with that said, guys, we will call this one a day. Thank you so much for hanging out and checking out the stream. Appreciate you all. Hope you guys continue to have a great rest of your day. And I will see you guys next time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, I'll see you guys later. Over the next few days for sure. Peace out. Set of ads on the outro and we'll host someone up and spread that StarCraft love. See you later.